Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It's called Tap into Your Deepest Qi with Swimming Dragon Qigong, how to build the Qi that powers extraordinary healing, spiritual depth, and inner strength. My name is Stephen Dunn. I'm the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, and I'm thrilled to be with you here, getting to explore this important lineage of Qigong with a true master. His name is Sifu Scott Jensen. He's the founder of 10,000 Victories School of Classical Martial Arts. He's taught several programs for Shift, been very acclaimed, and we're very blessed that Sifu Scott is going to come back and teach a brand new training for us that we'll share more about towards the end of the hour called the 6 Stages of Qi Mastery. So this is a time to really open to the possibility of how Qi can transform your lives and how Qigong, this ancient practice, can be one of the most powerful vehicles for accessing it. So Sifu Scott, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much for welcoming me. It's really a privilege and an honor to be working with the Shift Network and the amazing students that you managed to gather from all over the world. I'm really delighted to be here. Thank you, Stephen.
Awesome. Well, let's start our time together with a little bit about your journey into, I know you have a remarkable story of what brought you to Qigong and the path of mastery that just really brings you to today.
Well, the really reason, that I have spent so much time and effort and focused my life around this type of teaching is because it worked. It's worked for me and it's worked for my students. And my story began when I was 17 and I had a very severe car accident and I broke my pelvis in 5 places. I went code blue. I was very lucky to be resuscitated, but I had a lot of trauma to my pelvis, obviously, and my lower back. And after years of stretching and working to improve that, I had another terrible car accident where I suffered a really severe whiplash of my entire spine from top to bottom. And after that one, it sort of reactivated the first injuries a bit. And every day I woke up in so much pain. It was just hard to, stand up and just walk down the hallway, go to the bathroom. And it was a real challenge. And at that point, practicing Kung Fu or Tai Chi or any of the other arts that I really had loved and helped me recover from the first injury, I couldn't even do them. I couldn't do it at all. And that's when I really dove into the Qigong that I knew because I found that it worked. And if I got up in the morning and I was in a lot of pain, that if I practiced my Qigong, and it might take me an hour or 2 hours, sometimes even more, to straighten myself out and use my Qigong, I could actually realign my body, get rid of the aches and pains, and have a really wonderful day, and a normal day, at least physically. But what I started to discover was as I was practicing, that I would also get into this just unshakable, grounded, centered, good mood. And instead of being, in pain all day long, I was actually really, really happy to enjoy life and experience life. And as I started to try and share this and teach my students, and I've been teaching now for 40 years, I've seen that it really continues to work. And I've had the chance to focus on, finding the techniques that have proven themselves to be valuable to both myself and my students.
So it's a remarkable story, and it's amazing that you're able to kind of realign yourself, heal yourself on the physical level as well. And so I want to maybe share a little bit about that philosophy that underpins that, since I think a lot of people are coming with a mechanistic bias that we sort of, you work with the body on the body level first, but actually working with the energy and the flow of energy can be more effective in the long haul. Maybe share a little bit about what you've learned about that.
Well, I think actually in a certain sense, you need to sort of do both. And that's really the sweet spot. And that's what we'll be doing in this course. The very first part is, learning how to align your body, integrate your body, and to how to move it together. And that really helps to set the ground for you to actually use your Qi, sense your Qi, guide your Qi, and then take the practice so much deeper. And that's when once you've sort of hit a threshold with your Qigong, then your Qigong becomes this incredibly powerful healing tool that enlivens all of the exercises that you do. Everything you do has just an incredibly more beneficial effect.
So what is it that shifts from that kind of first foundational practice to where it really becomes this powerful healing force?
Well, the real moment, to me, that really signifies that you're getting somewhere and you're starting to accumulate the energy you need, is you start to get a very strong sense of the center of your body. You've learned how to sense your chi. You've opened up the channels through, the exercises that you do. You're starting to sense your chi. You're able to guide your chi, and then you're able to accumulate the chi in the center of your body, and then gradually build it up and build it up a lot until it becomes a very strong, palpable sensation. And that concentration of chi then begins to generate its own warmth and energy. And that's really the refined chi that's incredible for healing. It's an incredible support to any spiritual practice that you do. And it's just a very enlivening way to go through life.
Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit more about how that storehouse gets built or the buildup of chi happens within your energy system and body?
At the beginning, the first thing we really need to do is to, learn a few exercises. That is important, and you need to have a few of the theories, but it's really the act of learning how to sense and guide your chi, to actually use your breathing, use your mental focus, learn how to relax your body enough, how to tune into this sort of subtler sensations of your body and become more aware of your body at a deeper, deeper, deeper level. And then by using your concentration and your mental focus, you'll be able to start to learn how to actually guide your chi more effectively. And having good posture, the synchronized movement, opening the channels, makes it easier for the blood to flow, makes it easier for the chi to flow. And then you're able to really sort of start to concentrate the chi in the center of the body.
So you're concentrating in the center of the body, but you're sort of also moving the periphery. So you're are you visualizing while you're doing that there is this kind of like accumulative build at the center of your body?
Well, the most essential part about this is that your mind guides the chi, and where your mind focuses, the chi will follow. So what we need to do is maintain a strong, unbroken focus on the very center of the body. And then with your intention and willpower, that you're guiding, willing, intending the chi to actually move to the center of your body from other areas in the body, from all around you, and to gather the chi from the universe itself directly into the center of your body, so that with each breath, you're empowering the center of your body, you're starting to pack chi in the center of your body, and you're starting to build it up. And then it will gradually start to become something that's realer, and you start to feel it in present time. And there's a sense of warmth and fullness and strength that begins to develop.
Can you share more about some of like just developing your own sensitivity to that flow, or how do you start noticing the chi and sort of you kind of marrying it with your inner awareness?
Well, the very first part is that we really need to actually focus on the subtle sensations of the body in present moment. And for many people that were starting Qigong practice, I know when my students have started, when I was starting, my mind wandered a lot. And that I would find that I had essentially stopped doing my Qigong practice, and I was daydreaming or thinking about, oh, what do I need to do? Or what just happened? Things in the past, things in the future, that my mind was all over the place. And so the very first step is this sort of using some of the meditative skills. And many of our students in Shift are really amazing, and they have already some of these abilities, but we want to use that mental focus and then focus to feel the center of the body very accurately, spatially, in present time. And when we're doing movements and we're moving the center of the body, we sort of have to track the center of the body continuously. This helps to make you focus and not lose your concentration on the center of the body.
Let's talk about Swimming Dragon Qigong, which I love the name. First of all, I'm a swimmer and I love dragon energy. So Swimming Dragon Qigong is intriguingly named. Maybe share a little bit about that lineage and how that it can be such a valuable practice for us.
I learned this lineage from a Taiwanese master in the early 1990s. And for me, it was one of the exercises that really helped me to break through into feeling my chi and sort of being able to push my chi to my hands, to my palms, to my fingers, and to work with the synchronization and integration of my body to sort of really make that happen. And it's been a really wonderful exercise. It's not very difficult to learn. It does look like you're swimming a little bit, but you have so much twisting and spiraling. That's really the dragon quality coming through. And I think it's a sort of pivotal foundational exercise for anybody who practices Tai Chi, teaches you how to move like a Tai Chi expert, for just learning how to move in Qigong. It's a wonderful exercise.
Do you want to start teaching a little bit of the foundations? Then we're going to have a little bit of a deeper dive here in a bit, but just how are you starting? What is the foundation for the Swimming Dragon Qigong movements?
Well, the foundation for any of the exercises and for the Qigong, for the swimming dragon, is that we really need to first have very good posture. And for many of us, we have a lot of influences in our day. We're sitting far too much, or we're doing activities that don't help us to really have an open, upright posture. So we need to open our spine and lift up our spine and lift up our head and tuck our hips and sort of create the conditions internally that support gathering the chi in the center of the body. We want to learn to line up our legs and ankles and knees and hips so the alignment of those areas is really strong. And then we want to start learning how to originate our movements in our feet. And ideally, what we're doing is that every movement, we're moving the whole body. And this is a very particular thing we really try to do with the swimming dragon. And it's one of the best exercises that I've found, that I've learned, that helps you to learn how to synchronize your whole body. So all of the pieces are moving together and you start to harmonize the movement of the whole body. And when you're harmonizing the movement of the whole body, you know, it's relaxing and it's soothing, but the harmonization and integration, that really helps you to help things flow. And it helps you to be able to sense the chi and guide your chi.
Hmm. Well, it seems like a natural point for you to do a bit of a demonstration that we can follow along with, since you've set up the context really beautifully.
Thank you. Well, we'll switch to a little moment of practice here. And if you're seated, I encourage you to stand up and to follow along. The first thing that you're going to do is get your feet absolutely straight ahead. And so look down. Don't let your feet turning out, your toes turning out. For this one, we want our feet straight ahead. Turning your feet straight ahead helps. It makes it easier for you to really turn your hips. And we will be turning our hips. And then inside your shoes, press your toes down gently and connect to the ground with your toes. And then shift your weight back a little bit and sink your heels into the ground. And then lift up the arches of your feet. So gently, inside your shoes, you have a very active motion with your feet where you're connecting to the ground, you're plugging into the ground, you're starting to lift energy from the ground through the kidney meridians in your feet. So you're setting up your feet. And then we're going to rotate our upper thighs outward and line up our ankles and knees. So our ankles aren't pronating, our knees aren't collapsing. We're straightening out our legs, and we're going to use some lower abdominal muscle and tilt our pelvis forward. So the tailbone's pointing down and the hips are actually level. Having the hips level supports the lower internal organs, and it makes it easier to concentrate the chi in the center of the body than if the pelvis is tilted or twisted one way or the other. So we try to get the pelvis really sort of level, and we might have to use a little bit of muscle to do that, a little engaging. And then we pluck up our mid-back. You pluck up your upper back, you lift up your head, you level your chin. So this is the posture that we want. And now just take a very big breath, relax into it, try to not collapse your posture, but still be plucking up, tucking your hips, lining up your feet, gripping the ground. Now what we're going to do is with one foot, so I'm going to grip the ground with my left foot, and I'm going to pull my body towards the left side. And now I'm going to pull my right foot, and my right foot's going to grip the ground. The right leg pulls my body to the right side. And then the left. So you're going to use your feet to help you turn your hips. You're going to use your feet and all the muscles of your legs so that your feet are pulling the center of your body. The center of your body is turning. With your mind, you're staying very, very aware of the center of the body. So this is the essential movement that we're doing. And now as we're doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to raise our hand. And I'm going to turn it a little bit of an angle now. I think it'll be a lot easier to see it. And I like to put my hand either on the center of my body here to sort of help guide the chi to the center of my body, help me remember that the center of my body should be moving. Or you can put the hand behind your lower back to help you support tucking your hips and maintaining a good lower back alignment. So either place is really has great benefit. So here my wrist is smooth, my elbow's a little bit bent, and the shoulder's rounded. Now, when I'm turning, I'm going to reach out, and you're pointing with your finger. Your wrist is bent, your elbows, sinking downward, your shoulders rounded. And now we're turning our hips. So again, your legs are turning the center of your body. The center of your body is turning your hand, and we'll turn and reach back. And our arm is very curved. It's like a wave coming over like this now. So you can easily see how this looks like the swimming aspect. And as we come in here, our finger's going to lead, and then our palm will drop behind it, our wrist, our elbow, and then our shoulder. For a moment, your index finger is straight up. And this is like you're pushing a heavy door, perhaps. And you're pushing to open it. And as it opens, you release your hand, pointing your finger. And your hand just sort of naturally rounds and curves, but you're not collapsing your hand. You're sort of bringing the energy right to your fingertips. And now as we turn our hand over, we're coming back to the center of our body. You can think about guiding the energy to the center of the body and then out to your hand again. The arm is curving. You're using your legs to turn the center of your body, and the center of your body is turning your hands, turning your arms. So the center of your body is reaching your arm back. It pulls it back, and then your center of your body begins pushing your palm. And at the end, your hand relaxes, expands, and you bring the chi right to the tips of your fingers. And we're bringing the chi back to the center of our body, out to our hand. So now we're going to switch hands. We'll try the other hand. So again, I'm starting out, my index finger is straight up, the palm is spread, fingers are spread, thumbs spread, the whole hand is opening, and we're trying to feel the tips of the fingers to draw the chi there. But predominantly, we're gripping the ground with our feet, we're feeling the center of our body, and now we're using our legs to turn the center of our body and then extend our arm. And now we're going to use our legs to turn the center of our body to bring our hand back. Reaching, circling with the left hand overhead, the fingertips lead. It looks a little bit like a wave, maybe like one of those Hiroshige woodcuts with the wave. The fingers pointing up. You're reaching out. Your body is turning and pressing your arm. Your legs are turning the center of the body. Center of the body is moving your arm. You're bringing your mind and your feeling to the palm, to the fingertips, to the center of the body. Cool. Now that's the first, that's one hand and then the other hand. And now we can do both hands. And I think the best way to start with both hands is by placing one hand underneath the elbow. So I have my left hand up, my right hand is underneath the elbow. And now we're going to still do the same thing. We're paying attention to the center of our body. We're using our legs to turn the center of our body. And our center of our body is going to drive both hands. So we're turning and reaching, turning back. Sand passes right underneath it as it heads to the center of your body. Both arms are extending. This is the idea of the Swimming Dragon Qigong. So now we're using the entire body at once. The movements are very smooth. They're very harmonious. You're continuously gathering the chi to the center of your body, but you're also bringing it out to your palms and to your fingertips. And this is a practice which is wonderful for healers of any modality in terms of learning how to use the palm, use the fingers to energize your hands, to train the alignment of your hand and arm. So, you're not straining your wrist and elbow and shoulder. And you're able to use the actual mechanical advantages of your whole body. It makes massage techniques or many healing modalities much, much easier. I'm not sure if I should continue now or.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So that's our first taste of doing the Swimming Dragon Qigong. And I think it's a very simple exercise in essence. It's not hard to learn and remember. This is one of the exercises that I really love and I like to practice. It's one of the ones we'll use in the class. And we'll go a lot deeper into it, of course, while we're practicing during class. But I think this exercise, one of the things that it shows is sort of the whole process of Qigong, where you begin by focusing on yourself, focusing in the present moment, sort of leaving everything that you have to do or everything that's going to happen in the future, everything that you're worried might happen in the future. You have to leave all the things that just happened. You have to leave the past and the future behind. You have to focus in the present moment. And then we really tune into our body. And, that's where you're going to feel your chi. In terms of healing, you can do there's a variety of many types of meditations, but in terms of really healing your body and doing physical Qigong with a profound healing effect, we want to really tune into our body, and we want to feel our body, and we want to work with the Qi that's at the level of our breath and our blood, that's circulating in your channels, that's circulating in your body. And this level, the first thing you need to do is actually focus on your body. You actually need to feel it. And it's very easy for us in our modern world to be so conceptual and to live in the world of ideas and the emotional reactions to our ideas and not feel our bodies very much. But when you do Qigong, you have to shift. You have to shift to feeling your body, because that's where you're going to feel your Qi. And when you're feeling your body, you start to notice, oh, well, sometimes it feels warmer and sometimes cooler, and maybe this part feels warmer, and over here, I'm not very aware, and I have an ache and pain over here. So different parts of your body feel different ways. And so we start to tune into the sensations of our body. And that's where you're starting to tune the radio, tune to the right channel so that you can actually sense everything. And if your mind is wandering, then that's going to make it more difficult. But once you can use the movements, I think the movement is very helpful for us to stop the mind from wandering and stay focused. Your mind wanders too much, and you stop moving, and you realize, oh, I'm just standing here daydreaming, and then you start again. So it's I think movement is really helpful for that. And there's also the aspect of, as we're moving, we're remaining aware of the center of the body. We're thinking about moving the center of the body, so the center of the body is functioning as the center of body. It's actually the center of gravity. It's the center of our movement. It's the center of our mass. And this is really the battery that we want to build up, and we want to charge the center of our body and build up this battery and energy there. And I think this is the thing that really separates, the Qigong masters that I've worked with, and the martial arts masters that I've worked with. All the really incredible high-level guys all had a very strong Qigong aspect to their practice, and that all revolved around gathering the Qi at the center of the body. They had poems and all sorts of things that everything was focused on achieving this step, this skill. And, we talk about Qigong, and Qigong is different from gentle exercise, and it's different from meditation. It's a Qi skill, that's what we're trying to do. It's the Qi part. And in my teaching and in our upcoming course, I think I'm really trying to get people to do the Qi part, learn how to sense their Qi, learn how to guide their Qi, to the center of their body, then to concentrate it there, to turn up the power, turn up the intensity. And then something happens, and, different traditions describe this different ways, but the Qi ignites, it transforms, it catalyzes, and you start to get a second level and a real sense of warmth, solidity, fullness, a very strong sensation, maybe fist size or smaller, but very strong sensation in the center of the body. And that begins to have its own warmth, its own sensation. And this is what you're really looking for. It's when you achieve this stage that you can say, okay, I'm really doing Qigong now. I've achieved some real skill in Qigong. I've learned how to sense, guide my Qi. I've concentrated the center of the body, and I've built up enough that now I'm getting the secondary energy that's coming out. And then that's what's going to help you resist heat and cold, resist injuries, to resist illnesses, to avoid misfortunes of all types. That's the energy that we really use for healing. And that's the energy that supports all of the martial arts practices. So building up the energy in the center of the body, that's really sort of the key, I think, missing element that a lot of people are looking for. Is they've learned some amazing exercises, and they've become versed in the theory, but this is where you need to learn how to use the tool. I remember when I was in my 20s, and on the construction site, then everybody was using a hammer, and it wasn't easy to use a hammer. Learning how to drive nails with a hammer, everybody bruises their fingers a whole bunch of times and bends a whole bunch of nails. And the guys who are good, they could just drive the nail right in. So it's a very simple idea. How use the hammer. The actual practice took a little bit of practice to do it. All of the things that we do, just standing up, walking, everything that we do, all of these, at the moment that we learn how to do them, we're sort of big leaps. And really learning how to do Qigong is a little bit like that. And where you're sort of leaping into a different awareness of building up the energy of the center of the body into something that's really palpable and strong. And then you're able to use that in different ways. And that's really, I think, to me, where the real skill of Qigong is that after you've built that, now we can really do some Qigong. And as martial artists, one of the things that I've learned, is that not only to build up the chi in the center of my body, it's incredibly calming. It's incredibly stabilizing and steadying. This is why all the martial arts masters practice this, because this is their essential energetic, spiritual, psychic tool that they use to stay grounded, to stay calm, to be able to make good decisions when they're faced with really stressful, incredible situations. And, I don't think many of us are really preparing for the battlefield in the modern world, but sometimes our lives are very stressful, and it's easy for us to lose our cool, to lose our patience, to lose our ability, to be compassionate, to do what we want to do, to be our best selves. And we can sort of lose that balance. And I think the Qigong, the sort of a higher level of this, is that you're able to be really centered and really grounded. And this gives you a kind of resilience in the face of life physically. And it gives you a steadiness that if you're facing adversity, you're able to have the confidence that you can actually deal with the situation, and not only just deal with the situation, but deal with it happily, joyfully, with being in a good space where then, you're able to be that spark, that candle that's lighting all the other candles of compassion and calmness and gentleness and caring, and being able to actually, spread that throughout your life and through situations that you are, being one person that's energetically calm in a room, that's actually able to really be present and look at what's happening. And other people are in a very stressful states of mind. There's a lot of mental, emotional reactivity going on. And if you can stay calm and stay centered and energetically not lose it into these situations, and then you're able to really interact and serve the moment, that to me is sort of where we're really heading, with our Qigong skill.
Particularly important as the world gets more chaotic, to have that inner stability and that ability to just kind of come from that stable core. We haven't talked as much about the breath. You want to share a little bit about the philosophy of breath and the practice of breath along with Swimming Dragon Qigong?
Well, I think the real practice of breathing, I mean, this is one way our most essential activity. Your life begins with your first breath, and it ends with your last breath. And in between, it's one long series of breaths. And when we're practicing Qigong, the first and foremost thing that I'm always thinking about is really that Qigong is a breathing exercise. And the breath is how we are uniting our mind and body. And in Qigong, what we're going to do is we're learning how to use our breath. Now, the lungs use the pushing power of the breath to push the qi through the body. The lungs are functioning as the heart functions to pump blood through the arteries and veins. Then the lungs are helping to pump the qi through the channels. And when we are learning how to use our breathing, we're able to really sort of help this whole process. At the beginning, you learn how to use your breathing to connect to your body, to learn how to open the blockages, to sort of open the stuck spots, to maybe break through scar tissue. You're using it to facilitate the process of opening. And then as you're noticing the effects of your breathing and how your breathing is connecting to your body and to your mind and your focus, then you start to get much closer to sensing your qi. And then you're using your breathing patterns and your breathing exercises to help you sense your qi. And then you move beyond that, where then you're really able to have another level of the breath is supporting you to guide and concentrate your qi. So the whole way along, using your breath is sort of one of our essential toolkits. And, the most essential practice of all of it to me is when I'm really inhaling and I'm gathering the qi to the center of my body, and I'm exhaling and I'm circulating the qi. And if you can really acquire that skill, that's a fantastic skill. And it's a real thing that can provide continuous benefit to you.
Can you give a little bit of insight into how, if you've got a specific health challenge or an area of your body? I mean, you had clearly some very deep damage from the car crashes. And so how do you sort of, once you've cultivated that core of inner energy, then to particularly work with an area of challenge?
Well, the first thing that you really need to do, the first thing that I always focus on doing, is that I'm actually trying to connect to the area that needs to be healing, and to really feel it, to focus my mind on that area, and to not be distracted and not be overly tense. You sort of have to have a balance here where you're both focusing very intently, but you're also not getting so wound up that you increase your physical tension. And as you're focusing on the area, then as I'm inhaling, I'm sort of, sensing the chi in the center of my body. I'm sensing the chi in the center of my body sort of has a wave. When you're breathing in, there's the diaphragm is moving downward. And this is a physical movement. And between the movement of the diaphragm and just the movement of the chi, you start to be able to sort of sense the wave of chi that's connected to your breath, and the wave of your breath that's working throughout your body. So you're able to use your breath and sort of follow the breath, use the breath to push the chi, to guide the chi, and then you can sort of wash away at the areas. And it's, sometimes we say breaking through blockages, and it sounds like we're going in with like we're miners and we're going to like plant dynamite and then we're going to like blow it up and we're going to break through the blockage. People say break through the blockage. That sounds could be like really traumatic physically or energetically, to break through the blockages. So I'm much more the gradual erosion kind of healer that like, let's
More
let the blockage,
harmonious.
let's just gradually wash it away. And the imagery I like is, you go to the beach and you're there with the kids, and you like build a really cool castle, and then the tide comes in, and it comes in gently, and it's like these little waves, and the little wave just washes away a little sand, and each little wave takes a little sand. And your breath can be like that, just a little wave, take a little sand, little wave, a little pain, and you just use breath after breath. And it's not really rushing, you're not rushing it, you're just being with it. And then you're just using your breath gradually, and your mind, your mental focus. And then that's really how I like to break through these blockages. I use the breath, but I use it gently.
I like the
and sort of
erosion
patiently.
metaphor. Yeah, I've often thought the breakthrough kind of metaphor is sort of counterproductive, so that's great. I want to ask about a little bit about how the practice evolves over time, how you develop a good daily practice, how do you kind of weave it in your day?
Well, a lot of that. I mean, you really hit on one of the biggest challenges I think everybody has, and that's like, when and where do you practice? How do you fit it in your life? And our lives are very, very busy. And even my retired students and my retired friends, their lives are really busy too, and so you have to sort of get agreement and buy-in and commitment from the people around you sometimes, and sort of build a structure like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to go do this right now, and I'm going to be happier and healthier when I'm done, and then I'll be ready for everybody. So you sort of have to, think about this. And one of the things that I will be teaching in the upcoming course is, how do I structure my daily practice? Like, what do you do? How do you begin? What's the center? How do you finish? And so how to think about a practice, and then different strategies to build up a practice plan. Because if you want to really experience the deeper levels of Qigong, you need to practice. It's really about practice. And that's one of the things I love about this course. And I looked at all the feedback we had, and there was a real request for more practice and more guided practice, and let's practice together, and let's focus on practice. And I mean, that's music to my ears as a teacher when people say, let's practice, and how do I practice? This is how people become great, is by doing the practice part.
Mm. I also want to ask about some of the applications. So one of the intentions with your upcoming 18-week program is to also empower people professionally with skills that might be moving in the direction of teaching Qigong or teaching another form, or just working in different kinds of healing arts, so that this could be a nice complement. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you see people taking the practice and also evolving their service.
Well, I think, well, this is a great question. And this is something that, I really been thinking about, and sort of some of the requests that I've had. And to me, the Qigong practice is really sort of the heart of hands-on treatment. And, I studied traditional therapeutic massage known as Tuina, and all of my teachers emphasized that although we're touching the patient, it's really our chi which is helping their chi to heal themselves. And so we're doing the techniques, but the idea is that our chi is helping to guide, push, assist their chi. And that was a really, really important part. And to actually have the chi part on your side so that you're able to actually feel your chi, you've strengthened your chi. My teachers emphasized that if I wanted to be good at treating my patients, it would be a really excellent idea if my chi was much stronger than my patients, and that then I would be able to actually assist them better. And that it's difficult for someone, if their chi is very weak, to actually, work with a patient that has more energetic sort of mass to them, I suppose, more energetic power. So, we try to power up the healing capacity. And I think one of the things that Qigong is so especially wonderful for in terms of working with healers is that we do need to stay calm when we're healing and compassionate. And, often we have people that are in pain. There's a lot of stress. There can be stress in their lives. There's a lot of things that can go on situationally. And that when you're healing someone, you don't want to become exhausted by your treatments. That your healing practice is becoming a drain for you. And I've watched many people, especially people that are on more intuitive arts or psychic arts, that they sort of become drained. And I don't think that they have this, the idea, it's a little bit like Qigong this is very funny. I think it's something that we can sort of relate to as Americans, but it's sort of like if you're building your wealth, you want to make sure that you have sort of a nest egg of money, and then you don't spend that. And then that builds in interest, and then you use the interest, and you use the interest for other investments, and you could live on the interest. But the idea is you have this, capital block of capital, right? And then that generates more income. And that's sort of what we're doing here is we're building up this massive energy, and then it's generating interest. It's generating the warmth. So instead of like draining our energy itself, we're able to be very centered, be very grounded. So we're not being, disturbed by this possible situations that occur in healing, so we're able to really serve people by being that centered, grounded, calm space for them. And then energetically, instead of us becoming exhausting, then when we're doing a massage, it's more like we're doing a Qigong session for ourselves, and that we're actually not draining ourselves, but the entire event, might be a little bit tired, but you're not actually draining yourself. And I think this is one of the things that's so wonderful that can really support all modalities of healers.
That really brings it home just how important this skill set is and how widely applicable. I love the financial metaphor as well. And what I was thinking about is like I've heard that the Chinese are the sort of the best savers in the world. They save the highest percentage of their income, which kind of flows out of this same philosophy of like really building your core reserve of energetic strength from which you can serve and do your worldly work, and then it kind of creates a deeper kind of ground than if you're overextending.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Well, let's talk more explicitly about your upcoming training, which is going to be a remarkable chance to go deep with you and really learn these key foundations, practice together, look at different kinds of applications in our life. And Sifu Scott has agreed to teach this groundbreaking program. It's called the 6 Stages of Chi Mastery. Build extraordinary chi for healing, vitality, resilience, and spiritual growth. So it's really about building your storehouse internally and doing practices that allow that yourself to do that, channel it for your own personal healing or healing work with others and your leadership in the world. So you can find it at the URL chimasterycourse.com. Chi, that's QI, masterycourse.com. Sifu Scott, I'd love for you to share your intentions for what people will walk away with, and then let's go through the broad outlines of what you're going to be teaching.
Well, this course, we're sort of compressing my 40 years of practice and teaching into, this is the arc of what Qigong can do. This is the arc of what's really possible with Qigong from the very foundation stages of how do you start out with a really strong practice, and then how do we evolve that practice through different stages. And, this is what I have observed personally, and this is what I've observed in my students. And it's just going to be delightful to actually have an opportunity to sort of guide everyone through this. And it's a very practice-focused class where we're going to be doing 2 practice sessions each class and really diving in and practicing and giving you a flow to practice that week and homework. And, this is what we're going to do to progress this week. And we're just going to fly through it and just start from the foundation and go right to the peaks.
Beautiful. So there's 6 stages of this program. Each is 3 modules. So let's talk about it by stages, and I'll also read out the module title so you get a feeling for how it flows. So stage 1 is build a strong foundation for Qigong mastery. Want to share more about that stage?
Well, in that stage, we're really learning how to first integrate our posture, and we're learning a set of tried and true exercises. And then we're going to improve that by learning how to move sequentially with the Shen Fa, with the body method, and integrate and harmonize our movement. And then the third part, we're going to take that, and now we're going to put the breathing into that framework. So we've integrated the body, we're moving with synchronicity, and now we're powering it all. And we're going to do a really wonderful deep dive on how to breathe and how your breathing practice evolves over time.
So the modules in that stage are called Clear a Path. Module 1, Clear a Path to Qigong Mastery by building a strong foundation. Module 2, Improve balance, power, and presence through Shen Fa, body method. Module 3, Link your breath and movement to calm your mind and release stagnant energy. Then we go into stage 2, which is develop your ability to sense and guide Qi. Want to share more about that?
Well, I think the key point here is that, I think a lot of people get stuck on stage 1. And they never actually move off of stage 1 to stage 2. Or if they do, it's sort of a brief intermittent thing, but they never get really stabilized on stage 2. And so as a bare minimum, I really want to get everybody to stage 2 so that they're sensing their Qi. I've talked to people and they've done Qigong for a long time, but it's remained more of a conceptual activity and sort of a shallow activity. So this course, we're going to try and set up this foundation of practice, and then sort of as a cohort, all get fired up and practice a lot, and then take it deeper. So we'll be learning to sense our Qi, to guide our Qi, and to start concentrating.
So stage 2 has module 4, which is strengthen your ability to guide Qi through focused awareness. Then module 5, cultivate greater healing and improve blood and Qi circulation through the art of release. Module 6, sequentially relax your upper body and sink your breath deeper to maintain a calm, fearless presence. Then we get into stage 3, which is all about concentrating Qi for greater stability, presence, and inner power. Can you share more about that?
Well, this is where we're starting to get to the sort of the heart of the class. We've learned how to focus our minds. We've learned how to release lots of layers of mental and emotional tension, and we've started to really work with our Qi. And so now we're going to do 2 practices here. One is to learn to really get a good, strong center line going, and then we'll learn how to gather the Qi in the center of the body. And this is the center of the class, you could say. It's the center of the program. It's our 8th and 9th lessons, and this is where we've sort of been setting this part up. And so that's where we're really trying to have a breakthrough on gathering the Qi to the center of the body, learning how to concentrate it, and make that real for people. And I know I've talked to people in the martial arts world, perhaps, where they've made it to the second stage. They're sensing and guiding their Qi, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it's really amazing. But they never have made it to the third stage where they're really concentrating their Qi in the center of the body strongly. And there's such a difference in the presence and power and ability of the people who have done that, as opposed to the ones who haven't. And this is, to me, one of the real essential skills of mastery in Qigong, in mastery in healing arts, and mastery in martial arts. And it's also the sort of the foundation for the higher spiritual levels. So that's where we're really starting to touch on it right here in the heart of the class, the heart of the sessions, number 8 and 9.
That's great. Well, so I'll read out the title so people get the sense there. There's more details on the page again. In Module 7, locate your center line for greater focus and energetic awareness. Do you want to share anything more about the center line?
Well, the center line, I think, this is described in many different traditions and with a lot of different language. And I'm not worrying about, I'm really going for sort of an essential primal experience in the center of the body. And this is an incredible tool, not only for learning to concentrate your energy, to concentrate your Qi, but it's also a wonderful tool for body movement. and being able to actually have a vertical axis of your body and sort of work with that in all types of movement, it enhances every movement ability that you have. And it also is very nice for people who are doing massage techniques that require a little bit more strength or ability in terms of working with the patient's body. That having a good center line helps you mechanically to have the leverage to do some of the more difficult techniques.
Beautiful. So then we go into module 8, tune into your center point for greater inner stability and accelerating your practice. And then module 9, sync your chi to face challenging moments in life with unflappable resilience. Anything more you want to say about syncing your chi?
Well, this is, I think, the really the essential core training of the martial artist is to be able to stay calm and to not become mentally agitated and fearful or angry, and to compromise your breathing method. Because as soon as your breathing method is compromised, then you're out of breath and you can't even raise your arms to defend yourself. So being able to stay calm, to stay centered, and learn how to do this with an energetic base so that you're getting centered and then you're sinking the chi into the ground and you become rock solid, like a rock that's halfway dug into the ground. Then when life's events swirl around you, you're unsullied, you're unmoved, undistracted. You're able to interact, but you have a base of calmness and personal steadiness. And this is, it's amazing confidence, but it's almost beyond confidence, because it's just that you're not, instead of finding that, if I hadn't done my Qigong practice this morning, this would have been very, very stressful and it would have been very upsetting. And instead, you're like, wow, this is really easy and I'm really enjoying myself. And I'm able to speak more eloquently and be more present and able to respond more appropriately and to really sort of fit into the situation and be my best self. And I think, doing that practice in the morning where now you're ready for whatever the day throws at you. And not only, are you able to deal with the day, but you're able to deal with the day in a way that feels good and that you're happy and it feels splendid, and that the challenges, well, you hardly notice them. I think this is really where when you really have learned how to center yourself and really ground yourself, then that's a wonderful place to be. And if you do have to deal, like if you're a therapist of any type, or you're dealing with people who are very emotionally upset, if you can actually be centered and grounded, it's an incredible way to, maintain your health in the face of these sometimes strong emotional, psychological sort of attacks that can happen.
Sounds fantastic. Then we get into stage 4, generate heat in the belly for greater energy, presence, and internal power. Please share more about that.
Well, these 3 modules, we're basically saying, okay, you're ready. We've given you the instructions. You're starting to gather the chi in the center of your body. We're going to power it up. We're just going to power it up, and like maybe throw off the brakes and the handrails and safety stuff. And like, we're just going to go for power. And that's not normally what we talk about in the Qigong or the healing world, is we're going for the power, baby. But that's, a little power is helpful. And so these 3 modules are really working on making the whole thing go to the next level, and sort of taking the chi in the center of the body and getting it somehow, different people describe this in lots of different ways. There's lots of words, but to really have it sort of ignite to another level, where now it takes on a feeling of its own, an energy of its own. It's strong, it's there, it's palpable, and it's generating warmth. And the warmth fills your whole body. And then you feel warm. And if you've had cold hands for years, your cold hands, that starts to become a thing of the past. And if you're outdoors, then, being in hot or cold weather, it's much easier for you to deal with it. And if you're, if life bumps you and you might have gotten a bruise, when your Qigong is advanced and you've built up the energy in the center of the body and you've spread it through your body, then the bruises, they really don't happen in the same way. Even something that would be a very strong injury really doesn't happen.
That's truly fascinating. So the modules in stage 4 go into module 10, integrate your Qigong skills into everyday life so that every movement is Qigong. Module 11, increase your inner power through concentrating Qi. And module 12, generate heat in the center of your body through igniting the dragon's pearl. You want to share more about the dragon's pearl?
Well, this is one of the poetic images that I I like, and it's something that, you see throughout Chinese art. You go to temples, you go to monumental places in China, there's huge statues or reliefs of the dragon, and the dragon is chasing this pearl, and the pearl is on fire. And that's sort of the idea is then the dragon's going to try and catch the pearl and swallow it. And then that's how that's sort of the power of the dragon. And this is just a poetic way to sort of look at this process of, maybe this is your pearl and you can build it up like a pearl at the center of the body. And then once you get enough mass there, there's a little spark that happens. And then the energy starts to have a whole nother character.
Hmm. So then we get into stage 5, spread true chi for greater healing, joy, and energetic presence. And there are 3 modules in this. Module 13, lift chi up the spine into the crown to raise your spirits and feel more joy. Module 14, spread chi to the extremities and fill your body with true chi for powerful presence and protection. And module 15, enhance self-healing and self-nourishing by guiding your true chi.
Well, this is where we're going to use the warmth that we've built at the center of our body. And the first part, I think this is the smile all day long part, where you're lifting the chi up your spine, and it just feels wonderful, and it's very enlivening. And then this helps you to then use the chi to heal your body very specifically. And in this part, I'll be bringing out some of the oral traditions of what extremities mean and how we bring the chi to the extremities, and also use it in different ways for healing in our lives.
What a great stage. And then we get into finally the stage 6, move through the world with greater presence, joy, and compassion. And I'll just read out the titles and you can share more about this. In module 16, share your power and presence with others to contribute to a peaceful world full of compassionate connection. Module 17, awaken your senses to rediscover the world and move through life with more joy. And module 18, maintain energetic presence and bliss through the unity of being. Share more about stage 6.
Well, I think this is really where we're heading, is that in the end, we want to not just be doing Qigong for ourselves in a quiet space, far from everyone else. We want to use Qigong as a wonderful tool to not only prepare us for the day, but also to be able to be ready all day long, be able to use your ability to become centered, to become grounded, to engage in calming your mind, being able to be compassionate and really care about other people. And as you're the one that's being calm and compassionate, then you become the spark or the candle that begins to light all of the other people around you. So you're spreading, waves of compassion, kindness, and gentleness throughout your world and for everyone else.
Well, what a blessing that is to be able to spread that kindness and compassion everywhere and to have the resources to do so. So it's going to be a beautiful offering and a deep dive program for your personal transformation and also whatever form of healing service and leadership you have in the world. So again, it's all at QImasteryCourse.com, QImasteryCourse.com. In addition to the 18 live sessions, which we've just described, you're going to get interactive time to ask your questions. You'll get recordings of every session with video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. There are weekly practices that Sifu Scott will guide you to do at home. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience. And on the page, you'll also see there are a number of extra bonuses, each designed to enhance your journey. There's a PDF intro chapter from Sifu Scott called Shen Fa, Integrity, Synergy, and Power. There's also a video called his gold medal Tai Chi performance at Wudang Mountain. You want to share more about that? That sounds cool.
Well, that was a really special tournament that happened in 2011 at Wudang Mountain. Wudang Mountain is the birthplace of Taoism, and it's the birthplace of the art of Tai Chi. And it's a really incredible series of mountaintop temples. It's an amazing place. And every so often, the Taoist priests decide to have a grand tournament. And the previous one had been 8 years before that. They've only had a couple since the Cultural Revolution ended and the temple has been open. And it was an amazing event. There were over 2,000 Tai Chi competitors, professional instructors from all over the world. And I was very fortunate that I was able to win the gold medal for the Yang style Tai Chi. And really the most competitive division at the entire tournament.
Whoa, that's frankly amazing. You're able to do that in the birthplace of this work. So then that's just one bonus. Then there's another bonus, which is called Mystical Qigong from the Martial World. This is a PDF intro chapter from Sifu Scott Jensen's book. And then there's one special bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is a video from Sifu Scott that's called The Practice Behind the Breakthrough. You want to share more about today's special bonus folks get when they sign up by midnight?
Well, this is a really wonderful interview where I'm really talking about my practice and how my practice evolved and how to work with your practice and take your practice to the next level. And gosh, I had a lot of fun. I thought the interviewer did a terrific job. And, there's some really wonderful content that I think is very inspiring because in the end, it's really about practice. If we don't practice, you don't get any benefits. If you practice, you get benefits. You practice once, you get one benefit, So it's really getting into the practice part, being inspired about the practice. And my personal experience is it's 100% worth it. The practice is worth it. When you do the practice, it gets the results. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've been teaching this stuff for 40 years. My students who come to class and don't quit and they just keep striving, they keep making their efforts, At first, maybe they don't really feel anything, maybe nothing's happening, but they keep trying. And, very rapidly, their health improves from just the the exercise. But then after a while, the energetic side kicks in, and it's really amazing. So, I hope you're all able to experience this.
What a blessing that bonus is, and really helps to ground the practice in the next level. So it's clearly going to be an amazing program. We're very excited about this. You can find all the details again at chimasterycourse.com. We've kept the investment accessible. It's 5 payments of $395. So you can save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $17.99. The course is going to start on August 12th and run Wednesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community. There's some beautiful testimonials on the page about Sifu Scott's teachings, his example, his way of embodying the work, and depth of years of experience. So you're in very good hands, and you will have some beautiful breakthroughs in your practice and in your life. So you are, I think, in for a treat if you move forward. So again, it's all at chimasterycourse.com, and you get that special bonus by midnight tonight, which is called The Practice Behind the Breakthrough. So Sifu Scott, beautiful to spend this time with you. Anything else that's on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing this program with you?
Well, this program, I designed it for you. I got just lots of wonderful feedback and suggestions and requests from the first two courses we did. And there was a real strong desire to go deeper in a practice course and not to necessarily learn more exercises. I mean, I was incredibly generous with the exercises in the first two courses. And we're going to teach some wonderful exercises in this course. But it's not about learning exercises. And it's not really about learning theories. Again, I pretty much went top to bottom on incredible theory in my first courses. So this course is really about helping you to put the exercises, the tools, the theories together and to really start getting results in your own life. And that this is a practice course. We're going to get fired up and we're going to practice together. We're going to practice together every class, and then you'll have material there, flows of Qigong and exercises to do that week. And then next week, you'll have new ones. And it's progressive. We're going to move forward. We're going to move forward in your Qigong skill, and we're going to push your Qigong as high as we possibly can, as fast as we can. And I think one of the things about this course, the process of me designing it, I really reflected on my entire career of practicing Qigong, studying Qigong, and teaching Qigong. And so I've designed this course so it should be able to guide you not only for today, for the 18 module session that we go through, not only for the period of that course, but it should give you ideas and concepts and real skills that you'll be able to use through the next decades of your life practicing Qigong, that they'll have guiding principles and a really firm grasp on the actual nuts and bolts, the control levers of how do I practice Qigong? How do I build up my Qi? How do I use the Qi that I've built up to heal myself and just be wonderful in the world? So I really hope that you'll be able to join me. I'd love to see you in the course. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Sifu Scott. What a beautiful offering today and this beautiful program. So I know people will be truly blessed if they choose to move forward. So again, it's all at chimasterycourse.com, and you'll get that special bonus if you register by midnight tonight, the practice behind the breakthrough. And I think I forgot to mention that it starts on August 12th and runs Wednesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. So thank you, Sifu Scott. Many blessings all.
Thank you, Stephen. It's such an amazing opportunity to be able to work with you and Shift Network. I'm very grateful. Thank you.